Hello, my name is Michael Garrick, and this is PoppinCulture Movie Reviews. My guest today is comedian Sami, very funny comedian from Columbia, South Carolina. If he's in your city, please go see him. Very funny brother. Thank you so much for coming on to the movie review.
Hey man, thank you, Mike, for having me, brother. I'm so glad to be here.
No problem, brother. Thank you for coming on. The movie you chose was Harlem Nights. This will be
Yes.
100% spoiler review. But before we spoil the movie, do you believe they should watch it?
Oh, of course. This is my favorite movie of all time. My favorite movie of all time, just because the comics that were in there, whether they're still living today or gone, is a tremendously funny movie. And I know you're gonna love especially if you love comedy. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. 100,
Nice.
100%.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Very funny movie. Everything
Yeah.
past this point is 100% spoilers. Um, my first question I wanted to ask was before we even get deep into the movie review, did you know this
Mhm.
is a true story?
What, the Harlem Nights?
Um, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm so sorry. My brain got scrambled up. I'm sorry. Uh, it has a few like elements of true stories, but this one isn't a
Yeah,
true story. I'm sorry.
definitely. Yeah. It has the elements of it because it takes place when it first come on in 1918.
Yep.
So yeah, it definitely have a lot of true elements to it because a lot of that drinking and
Yeah.
gambling and prostitution, it was totally illegal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely has a lot of true elements for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you say. Yeah.
Yeah, they say they based it off true events, but like they never like went in
Mhm.
detail, like, oh, did this really happen? So yeah, right.
Right.
Uh you brought it up. This cast like is so well done. And to
Yeah,
learn
man.
later on that Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor did not like each other
Yes,
is
they did
mind
not.
blowing. Is mind
Man.
blowing. I mean, to the point where Eddie Murphy in his, I think, second to last, or maybe his last special, he said a Richard Pryor joke about Dracula.
I think which special is that?
It was, I can't remember at the end of the special. His
Okay.
last joke is a Richard Pryor joke. Like he said word for word a Dracula joke, a vampire
Hmm.
joke that Richard Pryor said, and it was just like it was done just to fuck with Richard Pryor apparently.
Oh
But
wow, nah, see, I didn't know that.
yeah, I wish I could like quote the joke. I mean, nobody gives Richard Eddie Murphy a hard time about it, but it's like
Yeah,
it's word for word. So, but nobody
right.
gives Eddie Murphy a hard time. But just to
What
know that now that they didn't like each other is just mind blowing.
it is kind of mind blowing, and then it's like it makes you want to say kind of like what happened because it makes me think about when Eddie Murphy did Raw. You know what I'm saying? And he tells about how he got this disturbing call from Bill Cosby, and after he got off the phone, he immediately jumped on the phone with Richard. And Richard said, "Well, is what you're saying make the people laugh?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm making the people laugh." He said, "Well, then tell Bill I said to have a Coke and a smile and shut the fuck up." You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that wasn't a friendship type of thing. Maybe he just wanted to call him and just say, "Hey, man, like I just got chewed out by Bill Cosby. Like, what do I do?" And it could have just been that type of thing. But yeah, like you said, to find out years later that they didn't really rock with each other when they were shooting this movie, it was just kind of a crazy thing to find out. But you're very right on that.
I can only imagine Richard Pryor being like, "I never said that shit."
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was,
right.
I don't know why I never said that to a young man. Um,
Yeah, right. So
Red
and then
Fox. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No,
No, go
no,
ahead,
go
brother.
ahead. No, no, go ahead. No, I was
Red.
just about to say. No, yeah, go ahead.
No,
Go.
no, you got it, brother. I apologize. You're a guest. Please, I'm sorry. I get
No, I
excited for
was
this
just
movie
saying.
too.
Yeah, I was about to just say, but do you know the strength of Richard Pryor? Because if I'm not mistaken, I think he was like maybe 2 months or 3 months off the bed rest from the burns,
Yep.
and he immediately jumped into that movie. So it's like, I mean, dude, like he was a tough guy, man. A little crazy, drugs, but I mean, at the end of the day, man, what a tough person to get out there and still make that movie what it was, and knowing that you had burns all over your body, like that was just crazy. But it's only
This
I
was
just wanted
my
to say that.
this was my first time ever seeing Charlie Murphy.
Oh, like you just saying just period? Like
Yeah, and this movie was my first time ever seeing Charlie Murphy. Like I had never seen him before.
oh wow. And this was like you talking about like he had already passed and everything too, like
No, I
or
mean like in any movie or anything. Like before the
oh
Chappelle
yeah,
show, this was my first time ever seeing
yeah,
Charlie Murphy because he was one of the I
the
guess
extras.
enforcers. Yeah,
Yep,
and
right.
and then you had R.I.P. the dad from House Party,
Oh yeah,
Robin
Robin Harris.
Harris and
Yes.
Red Fox. You just had so many comedians that were like on their way to the top that were in this movie, and it's just
Yep.
crazy to look back on. You know.
Yeah, and Della Reese too. Give her credit. Oh, she's another one that's on my list too. I got to put Della Reese on there. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, she was a funny lady. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so yeah, I mean, but yeah, just to look back at it and see how many comics that he had, who, like you said, was on the rise at this point. I mean, it was crazy, and I can definitely almost guarantee that this movie definitely help their careers just further and shoot off even faster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, it's, tell them about the opening scene, man. How wild that was.
Yeah, so the opening scene is actually one of my favorite scenes of the movie. Like I said, the movie starts off in 1918 in Harlem, and it's a peaceful Harlem night on the streets. And it's this little kid, Quick, who's running up to the gambling house, the whorehouse, and what he does is he knocks on the door, and it's this grumpy old motherfucker that looks through a peephole about this big and says, he just sighs. Motherfucker opens up the door. When he opened up the door, he say, I got Mr. Raymond cigarettes. Motherfucker just look at him. Going in the back. You know what I'm saying? And when he gets back there to the back, of course he walks in the middle of some men, Richard Pryor, Red Fox, Ronaldo Ray, they all shooting craps. And so, of course, Richard Pryor tells the young Quick, all right, kid, give me my cigarettes. And the guy who's shooting the dice noticed that there's a kid in the room. So he said, hey, look, man, hey, you got to get this kid's ass up out of here because, these motherfuckers bring me bad luck. I don't want them in the room when I'm shooting. And so Richard Pryor said, end up saying like, hey, motherfucker, this is my place. I can have it whoever I want. Which, if you look at that, I think Richard Pryor was about to get rid of this little motherfucker anyway. It was just the fact of, the dude had a problem with it. So he was just like, oh, you ain't gonna tell me what to do in my house. So now the kid stays. And, long story short, dude ended up shooting the dice and he craps out, you know what I'm saying? And he gets upset, gets frontal or whatever. And he pulls out a knife and say, look, I'm gonna stick you and I'm gonna stick everybody in this motherfucker, and I'm gonna definitely stick this little bad luck janky motherfucker standing here. And so at this point, this is my favorite part because Richard Pryor said, wait, before you stick us, I just want to tell you one thing. Now, who the fuck about to lose their life and tell the killer, I just want to tell you something. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, it slips his mind. And, I think also, too, to go even deeper, this part just shows you like the undying loyalty that they develop between, this random kid who do favors and this predominant Black figure character, Richard Pryor, who's pretty much coming through the trenches, to start his business, because that kid ends up taking that gun and he shoots that man right in the head and said, I shot him because he said he was gonna stab us, so he had to go. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
And,
think it was a perfect way to set a tone because it was
yeah.
funny, it was
Mhm.
serious, and it set the tone for the movie perfectly, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely did, man. It definitely did. It showed you like, hey, don't fuck with this kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because he's serious. And as you'll see later through the movie, Quick was, he was about his business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like to have fun, but he was about his business. Don't try him,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
love that it was no blood too. It was just like, let's put some pudding on this man's forehead and let's just say it was a bullet
Yeah.
hole.
Yo, that's right. That's right. Because when they lift him up off the craft table, I mean, it's no blood. I always thought, I was like, I never knew whether it was just that or was it the fact that the bullet was one of the old lead ass bullets, and it popped, it punctured his head and left a sealant around it where no blood could escape. He was just dead.
Yeah.
So I mean, but that was funny, the fact that there was no blood.
Yeah. The first time I saw the club and then they talked about the hoes. For starters, that was the nicest speakeasy I've ever seen. Like that was like the nicest
Yeah,
club underground.
man. Right.
Yeah.
You talking about once they did the 20 years later?
Yep. When they
Or
introduced
okay,
Ray's
yeah,
Club,
man.
I was just like,
Yeah,
this must be a nice whole house in the back because this.
man. Yeah, I'm telling you, because that joint was a fresh little spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you
Definitely.
think about the outfits? I think they nailed that time period.
I think they did too, from the outfits to the vehicles to the guns. You know what I'm saying? They hit it like spot on. Like, you know what I mean? Even with the Italian actors that they had, even that was kind of spot on as far as like how they dress. An old Italian dude, he gonna walk around in a expensive, kind of house robe with a goddamn what they call it, uh, uh, it's not a scarf, but I can't think
Ascot.
of the name. Right? Yeah, ascot. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Wearing the ascot and smoking the cigar. So I mean, I think from the outfits, man, they nailed it. They really did.
Yes.
You know.
When it came to pushing the plot, I think the cop really helped this plot keep going.
What do you mean by that? As far as you talk,
Like
because
the
I know which cop you're talking about.
like
Mhm.
he brought like where a lot of stories they'll have like lingering storylines. The cop came in and was like, all right, you're gonna have to try giving shit up. It helped
Yeah,
like push the plot forward.
yeah, okay, yeah. Well, I totally agree. Yeah, because he did end up sticking around too, like that whole entire time from following the dude who had the money, and so yeah, he definitely, yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree.
Um, the music, before we skip over the music is spot on.
Lovely. I mean, from the introduction of the movie, that whole like 3 minutes of like that, you know what I'm saying, that symphonic just band or whatever, I guess, because I don't know the instruments per se, but I mean, dude, from the start of the movie even to the, when it do the boom, 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 and he's running up, I was just like, I mean, that was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely spot on for that timing and everything. Yeah, I
Nice.
agree. Yes, sir.
I feel like we're skipping everywhere, but
Yeah, yeah, it's okay.
Sunshine, that
Beautiful
is,
lady.
I
Beautiful
mean,
lady. She's still beautiful to this day, man.
yeah,
I mean, good God. What's her? I don't know why her name's slipping my mind right now, but I mean, beautiful lady. I love her and everything she plays in. Harlem Nights, Waiting to Exhale, or whatever else. She's a
yeah.
beautiful woman.
I just I just thought that was one of the funniest. This movie is just so quotable, but I just thought that was the funniest thing of it. You just throw it, what do they say, throw it in the air.
Yeah, if you throw it in the air, it'll turn into sunshine. Hey, Sugar said, I don't want to meet her. Red said, I do.
Yeah,
That Joker said, I do, because
yeah,
goddamn. And then remember what he ended up saying, talking about, said, the pussy was so good, he done changed gods. So
yep.
you gotta have some mean pussy to make a nigga change gods. Joker said he done converted from Catholic to Baptist.
And that scene where it's just like, hey, honey, I ain't never coming
Yeah.
home.
Oh
Like,
yeah, hey, that lives forever. You know what I'm saying? And hey, look, I swear this is just kind of like a little side note, but like shout out to J. Cole for using that in his song because it was just like, yo, like that's literally how it is with some of these niggas. But you got something so good, like it make you want to call home and just be like, look, yeah, I ain't never coming home no more. You know, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, that's what I fucking say. Give me Holly Court 551037.
yeah, it ain't
Hey,
funny, but it's
darling.
funny. Like,
Dog, it's funny because I mean, damn, and you ain't even know you've been getting set up. That's why. Hey, look, man, it was crazy, yo. Like how he did that. He was so serious. I mean, he had a tear in his eye and all. And just said, yo, I'm telling you. So yeah, that was just a funny little scene too.
yes.
That
The
whole
fight
thing.
scene was great too, where it shot the pinky toe.
Oh yeah, pinky toe. Oh yeah, you talking about now that fighting scene? I didn't know. I thought you might have been talking about the boxing, but yo, that was super funny, and I felt like that was a real element of Harlem too. Like I don't know if you ever been to Harlem,
Mm,
but like I like even to this day, of course, the outfits have kind of changed, but I mean, people in Harlem still like that, like today, where is they don't fuck around and they're real flashy when they dress. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's always been a Harlem thing. You know, a cat from Harlem because you can look at his clothes and be like, look at how that cat dressing, man. That he a Harlem nigga, like, you know what I'm saying? And but to talk about the fight though, like, you know, like people in Harlem, they really didn't fuck around like that. She felt offended. So she was just like, I gotta kick your ass. And if you gonna take up for Quick in here, we can all be some fighting motherfuckers this evening. So that was crazy. And you know, it's like, you know, that's how it goes when you fighting and then you got beat up and next thing you know, she pull out a razor and he pull out a gun. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was stupid, man. Blew her pinky toe somewhere down the street. Question is, did they ever find it?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Hey,
yeah,
the question is, did they ever find it? Which, you know, if you think about this movie, there was a lot of like, you know, kind of questions that we never got the answer to. Which one was, like I said just now, did they ever find Vera's pinky toe? And then two, who really was stealing the money from Bugsy?
yep.
Because if I thought it was the white dude who hand he ended up slamming in the piano, he was stealing that fucking money. It wasn't Tommy, because you could just tell Tommy was looking like, yo, what the fuck you talking about? Five who that lifted what? Hey, we could talk to Calhoun, man, and get this shit straightened out, because you know, I was stealing shit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly. R.I.P.
Yeah,
Tommy. I'm saying that I
yeah,
don't know his real
RIP,
name,
yeah,
but
man.
yeah.
Thomas McKell Ford, I think. Yeah,
Okay, cool. Oh yeah,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
so we got it right either way. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what you, if you ever noticed in like all his roles in movies, I mean, dude, he played Tommy,
yep.
which his real name is Thomas. So it was just like, I don't know, maybe that was negotiated in his contract. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was gonna make sure that we would remember him forever. You
Nice,
know what I'm
nice.
saying? So respect to him.
Yeah, good for him. Good
Yeah,
for
we'll
him.
never forget you.
Your first time watching the fight with Eddie Murphy and Quick and Brugers, did you notice the stunt double? Because I didn't notice it till maybe my third time watching.
Uh Yeah, I did, because I think it was a stunt double whenever she uppercuts him and then he do the yow, and then he when he jumps back, that's really not him, right?
No, I'm talking about it's mostly him. I'm talking about her. Like you could tell it's a man with like a big muscly back and stuff.
Oh, but then no, I didn't know. I did not. I never knew noticed that. Like, so you saying they swapped out somebody for Della Reese?
Yeah, every time you see the
Yeah.
back is a some 6'4" man. They didn't never show the face, but like they showed that that was a man in those scenes.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay. So, but I mean that would make sense because he definitely was, you know,
Yeah,
jabbing for real. So yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I actually got to go back and see if I noticed that now that you actually said something.
Oh no, once I tell you,
Yeah.
you'll notice it immediately. You'll be like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
those are traps. Those are traps right there.
Yeah. Right. For
Um,
sure.
when it comes to towards the pacing in this movie, I feel like the pacing goes very well for a comedy.
hmm Yeah, like you talking about just as far as like how events are happening.
Yeah, I never felt like it was a dull moment. There's never a point where I was like, they need to hurry up past this part.
Yeah. Nah, there wasn't. I was about to say if it was probably the shooting scene. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, Arsenio and them are standing outside and they got a fucking bathtub full of bullets around them and they all ended up dying. But that part, well, let me back up. It was that part as well as the chase on the highway. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it was all necessary. So even though it could have ended up seeming just a tad long, it was all necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because when he slammed on the brakes and the car bumps and then he ends up shooting Junior in the back of the head, you know what I'm saying?
I
Which
cried
that
through
was
it,
fucked up.
everything.
Yo, that was fucked up. You ended up shooting this man in the back of the head, dog.
And just the whole quick,
Yeah,
quick.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Hey, Arsenio's a fool too, man. Like, I mean, Jesus, like, yo, he was really great in this movie too. I mean, short part, but shit, it was short, but he did what he needed to do for that short role, man. He
Yeah.
killed it.
People give Adam Sandler a lot of credit and he deserves it, but Eddie Murphy is also somebody that look out for his friends.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, for sure. And you know, I do remember the Black Pack. You know what I'm saying? Hearing about them when I was younger, you know, never knew why they actually broke apart. But I mean, dude, I really wish they were to get back together today because I mean, we need their help. You know what I'm saying? We need their help. And, I know that's kind of just a little side note, but, yeah, just looking out for people that's coming up or Mike can't get in the boardroom, how Eddie Murphy can get in the boardroom and pitch an idea and have these major companies like, oh, yeah, we want to buy this off of you and we want to get this in production as fast as we can. So I think, man, if they could ever rectify whatever their situations were, I mean, man, we need something like that. We need something like that for real.
I feel like Kevin Hart's trying his best, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't really know what he's doing, but I did hear about the what he call them, the paper cut boys.
But that's
You
the
know what
that's
I'm
the
saying?
group that he if you ever get a chance to read his book, man, great book. But like they
Okay.
really did they are like partially the reason why he's successful. Like without
Yeah,
them,
okay.
it's kind of hard. I'm not saying he needed them completely, but they're definitely
Right.
part of his story. Like he had
Okay.
they definitely were influential. Um you had said you had a story about your dad.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was just gonna say like how I actually got introduced to this movie. Because I mean, good luck trying to find it in the store today. But I'll never forget. I know I had to be about maybe I don't know, probably about 7 years old. And me and my dad went to Walmart on a late night run one night. And, this was, like I said, back in the day where Walmart used to have the big bin, just full of movies, like for $5, you know what I'm saying? And we were walking by, and I know this had to be like some like Divine or something because the two movies that were sitting on the top was Harlem Nights and Friday, Ice Cube's Friday, the original Friday. And my dad was like, "You ever seen either one of these?" And I looked at him and I was like, "Nope." And he was like, "Oh, tonight your life is gonna change." He said, "Grab both of those movies and let's buy them." And like I said, this is at the time Harlem Nights was $5. And I still got the same DVD, man. I still got it and everything. And man, I got home and I watched the movie, like I said, for just the first time ever. And I mean, yeah, dude, it changed my life. I went to school just reciting the movie, and people talking about I ain't never seen that movie. We still in what was this, like elementary school? So it's just like they just like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, oh, you just got to go see Harlem Nights, man. Like you got to check it out. Your parents probably won't let you watch it, but mine will.
Yeah.
Shit, my parents was letting us watch Major Payne at like 6, 5 years old. Like that's what we used to watch every day in the summertime. Staying at home, we pop in Major Payne on VHS. You, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Um
but yeah,
well, thanks for sharing that story, man. That's the
yeah,
first
yeah.
time I saw this movie. I think I was like 18. I saw it on Stars, and I was like, "This is a great film,
Really,
man."
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
grew up Joe
yeah,
Witten,
man.
so I couldn't really watch what I wanted to watch. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I grew up, well, I don't know. My denomination is a little strange. And I guess that's why I tell people, it's different for me, man. Because I grew up seeing two different religions per se. Well, yeah, two different religions per se. I grew up. My grandfather is a Baptist preacher, and my great grandfather was a Pentecostal holiness bishop. And so even as a kid, I would always just question religion. I never questioned spirituality and, feeling, all that. It was just always question religion. Like, how come when we hear, what I'm saying, there's no instruments, there is really no singing, what I'm saying? But then when we come to the Pentecostal side, I mean, there's a whole lot of instruments and a band and people shouting and running all over the church. So it was just kind of, I don't know, that plays on me even still to today. So that's why I guess growing up in my house, we had just a little bit more freedom because, it was just a little different, with
huh.
the ruling and everything. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got you, brother.
Yes, sir.
The ending, where the
Hmm.
cop is thrown in the jail cell, like that whole plan. Uh, I like the fact that the plan almost failed. Like it showed like they were that close to failing. How'd you
Uh-huh.
feel about the ending?
Oh, I loved it. And when you say they almost fell, what are you saying after the car wreck and then two real cops showed up? Well, that I feel like but they end up showing you at the very, very end that was even all a part of the
Yep.
plan. to make it look like they were going to potentially fail. Because at the very, very end, and when they're about to leave Harlem for good, they end up paying off those two cops and say, "Hey, man, don't spend it all in one place." You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Those are the same guys. So it was like, and I don't even think those two white guys are real cops, because if you notice, they knew that Buddy was gonna try to weasel his way out and say, "Hey, look, man, I'm doing a run for Bugsy, hey," and then Phil Cantone is over the police department, and y'all two white dudes, so help me, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what they end up doing. But just to answer your question, man, I just thought that was just so beautiful, and you know, I mean, dude, it's like shout out to Eddie Murphy, because like look at like the type of light that he exposed like black people in this movie. Like he really exposed us in a great light, because in that time, and everybody was trying to figure out a way to get some money. Even the Italians, even though they had a better upper hand as far as having more clubs and restaurants, it was like, look at what Eddie, look at the representation he showed of us. Like Eddie was like, because he knew, like, I mean, the average black man today, like it reminds me of that Martin Luther King saying where he was just like, how you gonna tell a bootless man to pull up, his bootstraps, pull himself up by his bootstraps? Well, that's why they was doing the illegal gambling and prostitution and running the club and having the bar, because we was trying to get our boots. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? And this is how we were getting our boots. And once he was saying the majors want to play where you playing, shit, we just pack up and go do something else, because this is a big world out here. We got our boots, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's about to get $50,000 a piece.
Yeah.
At that time, that's like saying you got at least a quarter of a million. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? At that
Even
at
more,
that era,
maybe.
yeah, even more, maybe, in that era. So it was just like he literally showed all these black people getting their boots, and whatever you do after you've gotten your boots, it's like now, go from here and start to build a house, and and create that new life for yourself. So it's just shout out to him for just having that subconscious of putting us in that light through the whole movie. Like they dressed so fancy, and you know what I'm saying, so it's just respect to him in that.
Yeah. Also, I like that. Not technically the best father figure, but I like the fact that they show that quick, their dynamic as a father figure, like son and father,
Mhm.
connection. I thought that was shown very well.
Yeah, and I think that was, you remember her earlier, you were saying there were like some true elements to this movie. I think that would happen real frequently, like back in that era, because it was a lot of kids who were just left by their parents, you know, whether the parent died or just ended up running off and moving somewhere else. There were like a lot of those, what they called them, I guess, like street kids. You know what I'm saying? That were running errands for, grown folk that were living in the city at that time. And like I said, once you've seen that element of, oh, this little dude gonna ride for me, you know, where your parents? They dead. All right, well, you can stay with me. And so yeah, that element of father and son is then introduced, and they roll with it very well, and it works in the movie very, very well.
Yeah, definitely. Do you
Yes,
believe
sir.
this movie could be made now?
Man, I'm hoping that this movie could be made now. And Eddie, if you watch this, please call me. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, because like I said, I'm really one of those people, man. This is really my favorite movie. And, hey, like I would love to be a part of a remake. And I think, with the remake, this is just my idea. I feel like, we shouldn't try to remake that Harlem Nights. We should definitely bring it just like what he did with Coming to America. Almost the same thing. Like, let's not try to remake it like just alike, but let's bring it into this new era, and let's see what a Harlem Night in this era would look like. It would totally be different. We'd probably be somewhere at, I don't know, the strip club, or somewhere, wearing furry minks. Who knows? But I definitely think he should remake it. I definitely think he should.
Nice, nice.
You
One
know,
through ten,
yeah.
what would you give this movie?
15.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, a 15, because I mean it's a really great movie, man, and you have a good time. I feel like watching. I showed my girlfriend the movie. She had never seen it before, and I mean we both were sitting there rolling.
Nice.
So I mean, yeah, it's definitely all that.
Nice. I totally agree, man. Thank you so much for coming on to the movie review. Is there anything else you would like to say about it?
Nothing else I would like to say about the movie, but I do want to wish just peace, love, and big happiness to everybody. Who watch this, who don't watch it. Man, y'all just keep living y'all lives accordingly. And just stay positive in this era where it is so much negativity around you. You know what I'm saying? You choose to stay positive and keep positive. So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
Tell them where they can follow you.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Stand Up Sammy. I really do want to give a good plug to my shirt because it's so fresh. But that's Stand Up Sammy. So that's stand up spelled the regular way and Sammy SAMI 3. The number 3. So please do that. Follow me, and I greatly appreciate it.
Well, and like I say, guys, please follow him. Definitely check him out if he's in your city. Very funny, brother. Thank you so much for
Yes,
coming on
sir.
the show.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you, Mike. Man, I really do appreciate it, brother.
No problem. Thank you guys for
All right, man.
listening and have an amazing day.